Hi, it's Mrs. Grimaldi. I'm here to do one of our first Chapter Friday reads. And this week I am reading a horror book. It's horror in our library because it has a red label and it is called Wilder Girls. It is by Rory Power. And this book is a little different. It is about a kind of like a boarding school, and this boarding school is off on this little island, and they have gotten this disease that they have called the tox, and it has started killing the tox has started killing a bunch of students and teachers. First it was teachers, and then it started infecting students, and if it didn't kill you, it kind of left some of the students with some disfigurements. And so our main character, she is, you can see in the cover, she's missing an eye and it's sewn shut because there's something inside of her body that's trying to make its way out. And one of her friends has grown an extra spine, and another friend has grown scales on her arm. And so these students who are left on the island are kind of being quarantined on the island while the CDC looks for a cure. And so during the day, they lock themselves in the boarding school because the island itself is also infected with this disease and is kind of a scary place to be as well. The story really takes place when Hetty, our main character, her best friend Byatt goes missing, and she will do anything to get her back. So she leaves the safety of the boarding school and goes out into the island to find her and realizes that things were not necessarily what they seemed. So this is kind of the story of what has been going on this island and what Hetty's going to find out has been happening while they've been locked in this quarantine while she tries to find her best friend Byatt. Anyway, so I'm going to read you the first chapter of this, and I hope that you enjoy it. You can get it at our library today. This is The Wilder Girls. Oh, and here is a picture of the island. And chapter 1 starts with Hetty. Something way out in the white dark, between the trees, moving where the thickets swarm. You can see it from the roof, the way the brush bends around it as it rustles to the ocean. That size, it must be a coyote, one of the big ones, hitting shoulder high, teeth that fit like knives in the palm of my hand. I know because I found one once, the end of it just poking through the fence. Took it back and hid it under my bed. One more crash through the brush, and then the stillness again. Across the roof deck, Byatt lowers her gun, rested on the railing, road clear. I keep mine up just in case, keep the sight raised to my left eye. My other eye's dead, gone dark in a flare-up, lid fused shut, something growing underneath it. It's like that with all of us here, sick, strange, and we don't know why. Things bursting out of us, bits missing and pieces sloughing off, and then we harden and smooth over. Through the sight, noon sun bleaching the world, I can see the woods stretching out to the island's edge, the ocean beyond. Pines, bristling thick like always, rising high above the house. Here and there, gaps where the oak and birch have shed their leaves, but most of the canopy is woven tight, needles stiff with frost. Only the radio antenna breaking through, useless now the signal's out. Up the road, someone yells, and out of the trees there's boat shift coming home. It's only a few who can make the trip all the way across the island to where the Navy delivers rations and clothes at the pier the ferries used to come and go from. The rest of us stay behind the fence, pray they make it home safe. The tallest, Mrs. Welch, stops at the gate and fumbles with the lock until at last the gate swings open and boat shift come stumbling in, cheeks red from the cold. All three of them back, and all three of them bent under the weight of the cans and the meats and the sugar cubes. Welch turns to shut the gate behind her. Barely 5 years past the oldest of us, she's the youngest of the teachers. Before this, she lived in our hall and looked the other way when somebody missed curfew. Now she counts us every morning to make sure nobody's died in the night. She waves to give her the all clear, and Byatt waves back. I'm gate, Byatt's road. Sometimes we switch, but my eye doesn't do well looking far, so it never lasts. Either way, I'm still a better shot than half the girls who could take my place. The last boat girl steps under the porch and out of sight, and that's the end of our shift. Unload the rifles, stick the casings in the box for the next girl, slip one in your pocket just in case. The roof slopes gently away from the flat top deck, third floor to second. From there, we swing over the edge and through the open window into the house. It was harder in the skirts and socks we used to wear, something in us still telling us to keep our knees closed. That was a long time ago. Now, in our ragged jeans, there's nothing to mind. Wyatt climbs in behind me, leaving another set to scuff marks on the window edge. She pushes her hair over one shoulder, straight like mine, and a bright living brown, and clean. Even when there's no bread, there's always shampoo. What do you see? She asked me. I shrugged. Nothing. Breakfast wasn't much, and I'm feeling the shake of hunger in my limbs. I know Byatt is too, so we're quick as we head downstairs for lunch to the main floor, to the hall, with its big, high ceilings, scarred, tilting tables, a fireplace, a tall, back couches, stuffing ripped out to burn for warmth, and us, full of us, humming and alive. There were about 100 girls when it started, and 20 teachers. Altogether, we filled both wings of the old house. These days, we only need one wing. The boat girls come banging through the front doors, letting their bags drop, and there's a scramble for the food. They send us cans mostly, and sometimes packs of dried jerky. Barely ever anything fresh. Never enough for everyone. And on an average day, meals are just Welch in the kitchen, unlocking the storage closet, and parceling out the smallest rations you ever saw. But today's a delivery day. New supplies come home on the backs of the boat shift girls, and that means Welch and headmistress keep their hands clean and let us fight for one thing each. Wyatt and me, though, we don't have to fight. Reese is right by the door, and she drags a bag off to the side for us. If it were somebody else, people would mind. But it's Reese, left hand with its sharp, scaled fingers, so everyone keeps quiet. She was one of the last to get sick. I thought maybe it had missed her. Maybe she was safe. And then they started. The scales. Each a shifting sort of silver, unfolding out of her skin like they were coming from inside. The same thing happened to one of the other girls in our year. They spread across her whole body and turned her blood cold until she wouldn't wake up. So we thought it was the end for Reese. And they took her upstairs, waited for it to kill her. But it didn't. One day, she's holed up in the infirmary, and the next, she's back again. Her left hand a wild thing, but still hers. Reese rips open the bag, and she lets me and Byatt root through it. My stomach clenching, spit thick around my tongue. Anything, I take anything. But we've got a bad one. Soap, matches, a box of pens, a carton of bullets, and then at the bottom, an orange. A real live orange. Rot only, starting to nip at the peel. We snatch, Reese's silver hand on my collar, heat roiling under my scales, but I throw her to the floor, shove my knee against the side of her face, bear down, trap Byatt's neck between my shoulder and my forearm. One of them kicks, I don't know who, clocks me in the back of the head, and I'm careening onto the stairs, nose against the edge with a crack, pain fizzing white. Around us, the other girls yelling and hemming in. Someone has my hair in her fist, tugging up, out. I twist, I bite where the tendons push against her skin, and she whines. My grip loosens, and so does hers, and we scabble away from each other. I shake the blood out of my eye. Reese is sprawled halfway up the staircase, the orange in her hand. She wins. And then that begins chapter 2. So if you'd like to check this book out, come to the library and look in our horror section, and you can find it. So thank you.